Chemtrails, death trails, poison from the sky. We've all gotten used to those white streaks left by jet planes. These are of two types, contrails and chemtrails. Contrails are those normal condensation trails that form due to water in the exhaust gases of jet engines. They only appear at heights above 9,000 meters where the outside temperature is very low. In order to form the contrails, it is necessary for the temperature of the gases discharged by the plane's engines to drop, therefore they appear at a certain distance from the plane's body and disperse very quickly. Chemtrails are those trails left by airplanes that look like contrails, but unlike them, they are very persistent. They can last for several hours if the wind is not blowing. That's why we can see them furrowing the sky from one side to the other, and it usually covers the sky along and across like a grid, as if someone wanted to cover every bit of the sky. Chemtrails contain a mixture of toxic chemical substances and toxic compounds. Barium salts, aluminum oxide, strontium, mercury, among many others, which reach the Earth directly. Any person who tries to look with great attention and lucidity at what is happening around him, will notice at some point that what we are told and what is seen at first sight is not the overall picture. Strange things happen and their discovery is within anyone's reach. The truth is sometimes too shocking for most people to accept, and many aspects pass us by without giving them due importance. This category also includes the phenomenon called chemtrails or death trails. For those who are not aware of this phenomenon, I will make a small summary. Starting from the 90s in the United States of America, strange streaks of different sizes and shapes appeared in the sky. Streaks that did not belong to the usual airplanes that most people were familiar with until then. More and more airplanes flying even at low altitude were leaving behind trails of chemicals that had nothing to do with the airplane's fuel or propulsion system. These phenomena have spread all over the world, and more people have meanwhile noticed that they have become extremely numerous. These trails have been called chemtrails. After it was shown that they had nothing to do with contrails or jet fuel contrails, the subject was dropped by the official media and the uncomfortable questions went unanswered. After laboratory analysis, it was proven that these planes spread substances harmful to people in the environment. Certain diseases have been linked to these chemtrails, but no link between them could be proven. The alternative media provided information about these death streaks. Why in the world are they spraying? Being one of the most viewed. Many other information appeared on the internet. Skeptics remain convinced that it is only a conspiracy theory, but there are patents that make possible the existence and manifestation of chemtrails. These delayed effect chemical weapons are bioterrorist attacks taking place across the globe. In the patents of I. Bernard East Lung it is mentioned that it is possible to disperse barium in the upper layers of the atmosphere, and it is specified that this is likely to greatly increase the conductivity, thus favoring the triggering of certain resonance phenomena that allow the use of secret systems of the type HARP. Just one of the chemicals sprayed heavily in chemtrails, aluminum, causes all kinds of health problems. The chemical primarily attacks the nervous system, causing sleep disturbances, nervousness, emotional instability, memory loss, headaches, etc. If aluminum-based deodorants and antiperspirants are not indicated for use, how can these chemtrails not affect us? Prolonged exposure to aluminum can cause brain degeneration, anemia, digestive problems, kidney failure, speech problems, muscle pain, decreases bone density, prevents the assimilation of calcium. Barium is also a chemical that has been found in heavily sprayed areas. Its presence in the body, even in trace amounts, can lead to vomiting, abdominal pain and watery diarrhea. Another element we are being poisoned with is strontium-90. This chemical compound is used in the production of electronic tubes, to treat certain eye diseases and in industry. If it is inhaled, it dissolves on the surface of the lungs, thus reaching the blood. Thus it can reduce the number of red cells in the body, causing excessive fatigue and a low resistance against diseases. These are just a few substances that are scattered along with many others. What are the elites aiming for through these programs? Let's just be a docile race of people who use the chemicals given to them by the pharmaceutical industry themselves. It's a whole noose around us and it's up to us if we fall prey to it. One of the methods of fighting against the harmful effects is to adopt a natural and healthy diet. What we consume is very important. Let's not forget that advertisements urging us to consume food offered by corporations is another form of manipulation and the results are the same. Food should be sourced from reliable sources and if possible be as natural as possible. In order to benefit from a purifying effect as efficiently as possible, it is good to try to use the following vegetables in our diet: oats, endives, black radish, green beans, carrot, beetroot, celery, asparagus, onion, garlic, cucumbers, lettuce, parsley. The most indicated fruits with purifying effects are watermelon, peaches, lemons, oranges, grapefruit, and pineapple. Chemtrails are used by elites for various evil purposes: to make us sick, to weaken our immune system, to manipulate our psyche and will, that of carrying out various biological and chemical experiments on the environment and especially on people, that of preventing people from reaching their divine potential and developing their capacities, gifts, talents and skills, that of controlling air corridors in the ionosphere, that of controlling the climate, plant and animal life on Earth, and everything that can be used as food. The surest and most effective way to guard against all attempts at manipulation of this kind is to aim to become as aware as possible, both of ourselves and of the universe around us, and then act wisely. Contrails are those normal condensation trails that form due to water in the exhaust gases of jet engines. They only occur at altitudes above 9,000 meters where the outside temperature is very low. In order for contrails to form, it is necessary for the temperature of the gases discharged by the aircraft engines to decrease, therefore they appear at a certain distance from the aircraft body and disperse very quickly. Chemtrails are those trails left by airplanes that look like contrails, but unlike them they are very persistent. They can last for several hours if there is no wind. That's why we can see them plowing the sky from one side to the other, and it usually covers the sky along and across like a grid, as if someone wanted to cover every bit of the sky. Lately, The increase in these donations has started to be noticed. They appear at a lower altitude than the contrails, sometimes even close to the ground level, and fade very slowly, leaving behind a fog in which various particles or filaments can be detected. Sometimes, they form longitudinal clouds that suddenly cut off, leaving a gap in that gap, then the clouds seem to form again to end a few kilometers away. Or, on the contrary, it cuts the sky from one end of the horizon to the other. These small gusts expand quite quickly, depending on the wind speed, and produce fine feathers or nets in the fan. Unlike condensation trails that remain visible only for several minutes in the sky, before gradually dispersing until they disappear completely, death trails, chemtrails, persist for hours on end in the sky. A few years ago only a few planes left behind these chemical emissions. Today, they have become extremely numerous, furrowing the sky in crosses, in parallel and even in the shape of S or circles. It has come to seem normal to people that a passing plane leaves these kilometers-long streaks behind it, which stretch from one end of the horizon to the other. They continuously widen, mixing with other clouds, forming a veritable foggy cloud that covers the sky for hours on end. We must become aware of this phenomenon in order to stop the massacre, if it is in our power. There is an unusual increase in cases of asthma, respiratory diseases, lung injuries, strange throat pains, sore throats that disappear as quickly as they appeared, flus that are not exactly flus. We face more and more diseases of the eyes, skin and internal organs. The list is long, and any health disorder can degenerate and lead to death. The abuse of vaccines and antibiotics of all kinds only irreparably diminishes the ability of our immune system to respond to unexpected attacks.